Hi everyone, this is Stephanie and this is Stephanie Builds Wealth. Welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if you're new. On my channel, I am doing a social experiment, you could say, documenting my journey as first generation American, learning about psychology and finances and trying to bridge the gap on things that we don't really understand, that's not taught to us, like how to manage our finances, until we're out in the world and realizing that, hey, maybe there's things that I don't know what I'm doing. And then using my training in psychology to do pattern recognition and reprogramming your thought processes to become more successful and program yourself out of harmful patterns. So if that seems like something you're interested in, feel free to like and subscribe and tag along. Today is going to be a little bit of a summary of what's been happening the last few weeks. It's been a while since I've been able to record, and I haven't fallen off the YouTube recordings to keep myself accountable. Just a lot of things have happened, so I'll give a little rundown here. I am trying to figure out a way how to be more productive with less time. Now that seems kind of silly, but there's a lot of things that are coming into fruition now that require me to focus my time in one area, because as we all know that saying, energy goes where attention flows. So if you spread your attention and your energy too thin to too many things, you don't really have a lot of success, or it takes a lot longer to reach success because you're just burning the candle at both ends. And it's difficult to maintain that mental energy level that this is important and I need my brain to subconsciously make this happen for me while I'm doing the conscious work. So what I mean by that is that last time we spoke in, I believe, January, February, I had shared with you all that my financial situation was not great. I had hoped to have a pretty significant raise and tax return that was supposed to help me, which I also shared that was also very risky to do, because it's one thing in life you never want to bank on money that you don't actually have. That is something that's very risky. And true to form, the tax return did not pan out. Thought I wasn't going to get one, did getting one, and then I decided the amount that I got back in my tax return wasn't really anything significant to make any dent in the debts that I have. So I decided to utilize that money to fund several sinking funds and then top off some grocery sinking funds, so I had extra money for food. Start getting the ball moving for some education certificates, which brings me to this video, which is where I'm at. So back in the end of February, beginning of March, I was able to utilize some of the money from the tax return to become a member of the Contract Management Association. They have 4 tiers of certification. I am currently training for the first tier of certification. So that is where my focus has been going the last few weeks. I'm trying to get that certification under my belt as quickly as possible. I am presenting myself in a way to employers that I have training from, not only on-site, on-the-job training, but also professional training from an accredited association, highly specific to contract administration. So I'm trying to get that under my belt as quickly as possible. And it is a very wordy textbook. It's about 400 pages. It's about this thick. And the study guide shows you how they test, where they take X amount of questions from each section, but you need to be proficient in all the sections because you don't know what they're going to ask you from the section, just that they're going to ask you 8 questions from this section and this section and this section. So it's not like you can really get cliff notes and then take the exam and pass right away and get your certification. You have to be pretty proficient in every section of the contract management lifecycle process. And some of the things I know, some of the concepts are more new to me. Some of the concepts talk about government contracts, which I don't know about contracts from the government. I don't know those things, so that's really tough for me to digest. But anyway, that's where I have been. And because I am just one person, I do work a full-time day job doing contract administration, so that is a very detail-oriented position. I still need to pay attention to what I'm doing in my day job, so that 40 hours a week is gone. And then after work, I do need to take care of myself, take care of the animals, take care of the house, take care of my physical therapy, take care of my mom and dad, make sure they're okay. You know, normal adult things where you run the household and, you know, your time is stretched very thin. So I don't have as much time as I did the last few months to break down multiple videos. So I think what I'm gonna do moving forward until I am done studying, because that's taking up a good amount of my time, I am going to do a summary update on different sections of my financial diary. So that being said, this is March. This is the mantra for March. I am wired for success. And I believe I mentioned back in January, this is one of the money scripts that I started to adopt and change my mindset for. And when I look at this and I read it out loud, I am wired for success. I don't have any pushback within my body. I don't feel any snide little remarks in my internal dialogue. I read it out loud. I feel it in my body. My mind believes it. And I do believe that I'm wired for success. So for March, we are finishing up the 10th. It is wild to me how fast the time is going, that we're already in week 3 of March. That's bananas. I have changed a couple things. I decided not to renew my notary business license, my notary website, my notary email. So there's 3 things that are canceled for the rest of the year that I will not be doing. And the reason why is because the notary business is not a place where I want to focus my attention to. I created that back in 2019 where I was a different person and I was on a different path. And now I want to focus on something that's more in alignment to where my future's going. And it's not doing notary, it's not being a mobile notary, and it's not traveling to different parts of the city for, you know, pennies on the dollar. I'm done with that. So I canceled that. I canceled my Peacock subscription. The only really reason I watched that was for an episode that didn't even have a second season, so there's no point to me keeping that. I believe I canceled my cloud storage. It still shows that it's $9.99 a month, so I gotta figure that out. What else? I am attempting to make the transition from putting my monthly subscriptions and some utilities on my utilities and subscriptions credit card back in rotation to having it drafted from my account. The reason why is because I had mentioned 2 months ago that I knew that my finances were in the negative at the end of the month. I just wasn't making enough money to cover all my expenses after I got the judgment for the state. And my utility, pretty much all my bills had doubled. So that put me in the negative about $300 to $400 a month. I have been working on canceling subscriptions, lowering prices where I could, changing insurance plans. So I went from having roughly $600 a month in subscriptions and insurance and bills on that credit card down to $240. So now I'm trying to figure out how best to manage this because I know that I'm still negative. Nothing has changed in my financial situation yet, but now I have a credit card that's very close to getting maxed out, and I have changed the payment methods from that onto a credit card that I had paid off. And I know what you're thinking, like this is a recipe for disaster, and I hear you. I can't really say that utilities are not optional. I have to have them. I have to pay them. I don't really have a choice not to pay them. So I'm trying really hard to pay what I can with the money that I have, and then pay off the balance of that new credit card at the end of the month while paying the other one down. So it's not a good situation. It's not ideal. I'm sure a lot of people are shaking their heads right now, but this is what happens with people when you don't have an income that covers your four walls and you're not even able to live paycheck to paycheck, which is where a lot of people in this country have been at for the last several years. So I do have a lot of sympathy for people. I get it when there's nobody else to help you and it's just you and you're drowning in bills. I understand. I have not been successful in getting a part-time job. That has not been something that has happened. I've been trying for the past 2 months. That has not happened yet. So I'm still trying. I do make some sales off Etsy, but it's really hit and miss. It's nothing that's going to cover the gap of what I'm short every month. I am still looking for another full-time job to take the place of the one that I have now, that pays more in salary and is pretty similar to benefits that I have. So me leaving this position won't affect me so much in other aspects of my life, like my health insurance, for example, or my retirement. So I am working on that. Again, it's in progress, and really all you can do at this point is just wait to get a phone call and be scheduled for an interview. So this is one of those things where you have to really lean on your patience, and if you're a person of faith, lean on your faith and just trust that it's going to happen when it's going to happen. That's also something that's interesting, the way that the landscape is changing for employment with the development of AI. On my LinkedIn, the AI and the premium aspect, I tried it for the month just to see what it was. It's really interesting how AI is being utilized in the hiring process. So it will literally just scan your resume and it'll point out keywords that the job description is looking for. And if you have those keywords, or if you have a majority of the keywords, it'll let you know if you're a high prospect applicant or not, and if you should apply or not. So this is something that's also changing the employment game, is that the chances of your resume coming across to an actual person has dropped significantly, because now they're taking hundreds of applications, screening them through AI processes, and only keeping ones that have the majority of their points that they're trying to look for in the next applicant. So I would imagine that's probably why it's taking a lot longer to hear back from people about a part-time job, or even getting interviews to change my full-time day job, is that it's been transitioned from the human aspect to the AI aspect, because it's just quicker and more efficient. So really all I can do is just wait and keep applying and just keep doing the work, and trust that I know that I am in a place where I have great skill sets that justify me getting hired in a place that will afford me not a wage to live. I can't stand the term a livable wage, because to me it implies that you're okay living on the edge of poverty should something happen. I have no interest in a livable wage. I have an interest in a wage that lets me thrive and enjoy my life. I have no interest in living paycheck to paycheck. I have no interest in living a small little life. I have no interest in that. I want to live a big life, and I'm not going to be able to do that if I have the bare minimum salary. Because as we know, when the next year comes, cost of living always goes up, and the salary you had 1 year or 3 years ago is just no longer cutting it. So I don't have any interest in a livable wage. I have an interest in a thriving wage. And I make no apologies for that. And I know a lot of people think that that's tacky or poor, but I personally think that that comes from financial traumas and scripts that we are taught when we're little, that wanting more than enough in your life seems greedy. And I disagree with that. So I have a couple of things that I canceled, even with, these are small ticket things. The real big picture is that, you can cancel, small ticket items in your budget, but at the end of the day, it's your salary. That's the problem. You're just not making enough. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out with the new job that I'll be getting shortly. I'm speaking that into reality. All right, so let's see. Doing a quick update on my planned income tracker. Everything has gone through. Mattress, AAA, yes. Gas, yes. HOA, that was drafted. Gym, that was drafted. Everything was drafted. I did something different this paycheck where I took half of the state balance. I'm gonna attempt to split it half and half and see if that will help make it more manageable now that I'm trying to shift more bills from the credit card into my rotation of getting it paid from my account. I took half of state, and then I paid my power bill through my account versus on the card. All of those have already drafted. That's done. This is going to be for this week's paycheck, so I'll fill that out with you in a different video. Update on the sinking funds. So let's see. I was able to add an additional $45.69. So it was $249.41, but unfortunately I had a charge that I completely forgot about from last year. I did a 14-day trial for a QR code for when I was attempting to still run my notary business and completely forgot about the 14-day trial. Ended up using a free QR code that I put on my business cards and just completely forgot about it until it was charged to my grocery sinking fund credit card. I decided to take that amount and pay off that charge while requesting a refund, but I didn't know how long it was gonna take. I did get the credit card charge refunded, so it brought down my grocery sinking fund back down to zero, which was good because I needed to get more groceries. And I'm noticing this has been a theme for the last 2 paychecks, is that the amount that I'm giving myself in groceries for $250 seems to not be cutting it. I seem to be running out of my $250 about 3 days before paycheck or a week before paycheck, or payday. If I have to take care of things for my mom and dad, or I'm going out to dinner or doing something, it ends up not being able to bring me to the next payday. So again, that's something that's really difficult for my current financial situation because I only have $250 to give myself. I have such tight funds right now that I can't give myself $300 to cover the short until my income increases. So I'm just doing the best that I can right now, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate. My 3-month bounce fund, I was able to give that $5, which brought it to $10. And let's see, I was able to do another $50.26, which brought my balance to $201.07. Amazon Prime added $5. We're now at $25.07. Water reclamation, which is due on 7/31. I was able to add another $12 to bring it to $24.03. Nothing is going into family planning or travel, home warranty, pet deduction, and Republic Services all fully funded. And then I have a note here that once car registration is 100% funded, which should be 2 more paychecks, once the car registration is 100% funded, roll over the $50.25 to the Amazon Prime account, which will be funded by the end of May. Okay. Car registration will be fully funded by the end of March 2024. Great. I love that. So let's see. Sinking funds, home warranty, that was fully funded. Republic Services was fully funded. Pet insurance deductible was fully funded. Car registration, I guess here, because there's only 2 more left. Ooh, yay. Okay. Amazon, I think that's good. Yep. Debt tracker. So this one's going to be a little interesting. I'm going to use the rollover from February. At the end of the month, the previous balance was, this is my consumer debt including my mortgage, okay? This is $248,943.91. The rollover balance was $249,932.97. Now, the reason why it looks like went up significantly is because I have not paid my mortgage yet. I did not use the last paycheck from February to cover my March mortgage. I'm going to pay the mortgage on the first paycheck for March, and that is going to cover everything until the 27th. I don't know if I'll do that for next payday just because it leaves too much of a gap in the next payday that I'm short, that I have to save from the first paycheck of the month. For example, waiting to pay my mortgage on the 13th of March meant that I had to save an additional $566 from the last paycheck in February, because that's how much I was going to be short doing it this way. So I don't think that I will do that for April. I was just experimenting to see maybe if it would stretch my money, and it really doesn't. So I think for the last paycheck of March, I will include April's mortgage, and that way the first paycheck in March can cover everything the rest of the month. So because I get paid bi-weekly and I don't have the ability to stretch my money out right now because I'm so short, and first paycheck of the month pretty much covers the rest of the month, and then the last paycheck of the month covers everything for the following month. So kind of piggybacks off of each other. That is where I'm at with that. I don't think I'm going to do that next month because it's just, I don't know. I'd rather not have to play that game of, okay, how much do I have to save from my previous check to cover the next check? Not a fan of that. So I probably won't do that again. But when I do pay the mortgage for March, this will go down significantly. And then the numbers will make more sense when I do the end of the month debt tracker for March. So I did transfer the balances over. I think for time purposes, we'll just say that if it went up or down. So the surgery balance went down. Amazon went up, and unfortunately, I had to get a couple things from my mom and dad that I didn't have the money for, so I had to put it on my Amazon card. My parents are retired, they're on fixed income, and they really don't have much. And with their utilities going up, I have to help them. I'm not gonna let my parents suffer, you guys. Like, that's fucked up. I'm not gonna do that. I have the ability to generate more income in my lifetime before retirement. Like, I've got at least 20 years before I retire. I can afford to pay this down at a later date. My parents don't have the ability to generate more money, so when they run out of money from their retirement checks, like, that's it. They don't have any more, and I'm not gonna let my parents go without. I'm just not gonna do that. Discover 2, that went up quite a bit. Unfortunately, this is getting close to maxed out. This is what I was saying earlier in the video, that I've removed all the utilities and the few monthly subscriptions I have left off of here. So now I'm going to figure out a way to pay that down. This is not a concern for me right now because there's no interest on this card until September 6th of this year. And then Bank West, the interest doesn't start until August 11th of this year. So this will be more of a priority than anything else. Mattress, that went down. Affirm, that went down. Bank CC, that went down. Car Note went down. Upgrade went down. School 1 and 2, they went down for the time being, but because the interest is daily, this is going to go right back up. The school loan is going to do this. It's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, slowly up, 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 because that's just how the interest works on this. The overpay for the Colonial Life went down. Mortgage stayed the same because I haven't paid on it yet. So in my feels, what am I feeling? I'm feeling very positive that the changes to Discover 2 have decreased from $600 a month to at the time was $247, but I've actually dropped that down from $247 to $339, making it much more manageable. And what habits are you creating to become financially abundant? I am reciting the mantra on a daily basis that I am welcoming my wealth era, six-figure income, and true humility of life and financial education to know what to do with the money that I do get. So you get wisdom, you get financial education. As you get older, you start realizing what's really more important in life, and it's not blowing money on just crazy vacations. It's being able to have financial security and know that if you want to experience life, you can do that. If you want to walk away from a job that doesn't suit you, you can do that without it destroying you financially. If your parents need help, if your kids need help, you can do that, and it's not going to be a detriment to you financially. I look forward to being able to help my mom and dad better. Retirements. Retirement at 2% was $3,555. At 2% still, it is now $3,773.60. My dividends last month were $2.31. My dividends this month were $12.70. Pretty happy about that. And that's pretty much it for now. What I would like is I'd like to get to a point where I can pay off all my debt and use my first paycheck for the month to cover all the expenses for the month, and then the second paycheck is fair game for investing, sinking funds, and being able to put money aside for self-pampering and care. I still want to do videos. I still want to keep myself accountable. I still want to document my process, even though I know it seems very difficult now because bills don't stop, and you have to pay the majority of the necessary bills that you have because you have to live in a home, you have to drive a car, you have to have utilities, you have to eat, you got to take care of your pets and kids if you have them. Those are just non-negotiables. And when you come to a crossroads where your income is no longer keeping up with those four walls, you got to do what you can until you can remedy your situation, whether it's getting a part-time job, doing a side hustle, getting a new job that covers those things. And so unfortunately, I'm in a place where I am still short every month, but I was able to drastically cut down my monthly expenses from $600 to $239. Really happy about that. I know it seems tough right now, and I'm recognizing that I have almost maxed out a credit card that I've been using for the past 6 months to cover expenses. And now I have to put those expenses on a different card because I don't have the money to do anything right now. I just don't. I don't have the funds. And unfortunately, I'm in a rock and a hard place, and it's my last resort. I don't really have any other option, So I don't want to add more debt, but at the same time, I need my utilities. I can't have a house that doesn't have running water or electricity. I can't not have that. Even with all those things happening, I still feel very positive that me getting called in for an interview for a new position is very near. I will try to do them bi-weekly till I'm done studying for my certification. So that's the best that I can do right now with the time that I have. And I hope that the update was exciting for you to know that there was some progress made, paying things down, getting bills down from what they were, being able to cancel things and rebudget as best I could. I hope that's inspiring to you. And if you guys are in the same boat with me where you have more coming out than you have coming in, I hope it doesn't feel hopeless, and I hope that it feels possible to make changes, to make drastic changes in your life. I'm in a headspace, if I think about it. In my body, I don't feel tension or stress. In my head, I don't feel tension or stress. I know that I will be getting a better position. I know that. When it happens, I don't know. I feel soon, so we'll see. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. I will see you all on the next video. Thank you.